Howdy folks, hope you're all having the best day possible, although I realise the chances of that are fairly slim, but hey, we can always hope. And welcome back to World of Warships with Rear Admiral Jingles. Based purely on the names of the various different players in this match, I'm thinking this is a North American server replay. You've got front towards enemy in the friendly Pensacola, you've got world's worst player in the friendly Colorado. You've got soon sunk in the friendly Baltimore. A lot of these names aren't exactly inspiring me with a great amount of confidence. And then, of course, you've got the hero of today's show. How do you... Airy? Yeah. It's Dave again, isn't it? Welcome back, Dave. It's been a while. Dave here in the Tier 8 British Tribal Class Destroyer, HMS Cossack. Let's take a quick look at the matchmaking. I mean, well, he's top tier. Could be worse. Actually, it couldn't be much worse. He could have been bottom tier. That's the only way it could have been worse. Both teams have a carrier, radar, and 2 submarines. I mean, yeah, he could have been bottom tier and there could have been 2 carriers. But other than that, this couldn't really be a lot worse. Oh well, never mind. Now, as for the ship that he's sailing, the Cossack, I mean, I wouldn't go so far as to say that this is a great Tier 8 destroyer, but it's certainly pretty good, and I really do like it. It definitely emphasises the guns over the torpedoes, though. While the torpedoes are pretty good, 10 kilometre range, 62 knot speed, I mean, it's not blisteringly quick, but it's not slow either. They'll do nearly 17,000 damage on a hit, and the reload is pretty fast, but the problem is it's only got the one quad launcher. The guns, however, are excellent. Although the calibre is a little weedy. For some reason, Britain kept going for 4.5 inch rather than 5 inch guns. These 120mm guns are, well, they can struggle with high explosive armour penetration, let's just say that. However, it does get 8 of them, and they have a fairly quick 5-second reload. Also, the stealth on this thing is exceptional. Dave's gone for a maximum stealth build, and he's gotten it down to 5.5 kilometres surface concealment, which is phenomenally good. And I think he may very well be, well, with the exception of the submarines, of course, but I think if he's not the sneakiest surface ship in this game, he's at least tied for that title with the enemy Asashio. And being as stealthy as a Japanese torpedo destroyer is pretty impressive. In fact, it looks like they both detected each other at exactly the same time, which is incredibly bad news for the Asashio. Because he doesn't have to worry about the Asashio's torpedoes. The Asashio uses deep-water torpedoes, in fact, extra special deep-water torpedoes that can't even hit cruisers, let alone destroyers. They're only good against battleships and carriers, although they are exceptionally quick, and they do pack one hell of a punch. The Asashio, of course, does have to worry about Dave's torpedoes. So, smart move from the Asashio. He dumped the smoke, unfortunately. He then evacuated the smoke in order to avoid getting torpedoed, but he kind of zigged when he should have zagged and got himself respotted as he exited the smoke. Now, Dave is going to ground himself on the island here, but I think it might actually have been intentional because there's an enemy Amalfi coming. And he doesn't want to run out in front of the guns of the Amalfi. Particularly because the Amalfi is becoming so close that he's going to pop his own smoke here anyway, just to be on the safe side. Yeah, that guy. If he hadn't hit the island there, he would have probably drifted to within 2 kilometres of the Amalfi, at which point it's minimum assured detection range, and it doesn't matter whether you're in smoke or not, you're still going to be seen. The Amalfi, of course, is inside his hydro range, which is... I'm not entirely sure why the Amalfi is charging straight towards a Colorado and a Zeton. But he's going to regret chasing towards that Colorado. And also, you know, broadsiding a obviously destroyer concealing smoke screen is not a smart idea. But it's the Colorado. There, that was a quadruple citadel. A quick thank you there in chat from Dave to world's worst player in the Colorado for neutralising the Amalfi for him. Taking a quick look around. There's the Eisenhower back there. He's been respotted. Oh, yeah, you really... I guess the Asashio just got target fixated on the big, fat, juicy battleships down to the south. But he's going to regret that. Although possibly not immediately. He's managed to get the island between himself and Dave. Give himself a bit of a break from Dave's 4.5 inch gun barrage. But it's a momentary respite only because, well, the Cossack may not be a particularly fast destroyer. In fact, it has a rather pedestrian 36 knot top speed, but it does have an engine boost. Which is going to be the end of the Asashio. And it's Dave who gets him. So there's his first kill. Both teams have suffered 3 casualties. And then the second I open my mouth, the enemy Z31 takes out the friendly U-69. So Dave's team are now trailing 1 kill. There go the Asashio's deep water torpedoes. Of course, Dave had his hydro running, so there was... Ooh, hello, I spy an enemy submarine. I mean, the Colorado's not the fastest ship in the world, but with the torpedoes hydroed as early as they were, he had plenty of time to avoid the Asashio's torpedoes. He does take 1 torpedo from the enemy submarine over there, there it is, it's the U-69. A single torpedo, of course, isn't going to sink the Colorado unless it gets a lucky detonation. But this U-69, with Dave closing in a tribal-class destroyer, I believe the correct naval terminology for the situation that the U-69 has just found himself in, as the Colorado drops depth charges on him as well, is proper fucked. There it is. Okay. Both teams on 4 kills. Oh, and there's the Colorado in chat, world's worst player again, thanking Dave for taking care of the submarine for him, right after Dave thanked him for taking care of the Amalfi for him. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is a North American server replay. There's a lot of thank yous and good jobs going on in chat, the sort of thing that you don't normally see unless people are being sarcastic on the EU server. So yeah, I'm reasonably confident that this is in fact a North American server replay. Not really sure what's going on with the scores at the top of the screen. Can't tell yet whether or not this is an infamous bugged replay. The enemy team are the only one with a cap circle. Although I'm reasonably sure that we're about to flip Charlie. Yeah, the scores have flipped. You can see it's just gone up to 282 points on the wrong side of the screen from the capture of Alpha, which is held by the enemy team. Although I'm reasonably sure Dave's team are about to flip Charlie. There's nobody left on the enemy team over here to contest it, except maybe for the Massachusetts up to the north, but he is very wisely getting the hell out of here. So they're about to, any second now, there it is. Okay, so both teams control 1 cap circle. The enemy team have a slight points lead because they had 1 cap circle for longer than Dave's team did, and the central cap at Bravo is being heavily contested, and I mean, Dave's team are the only ones with any ships in the cap circle, but I'm not sure they're going to be able to take it. The team have a U-190 in there, but I'm pretty sure he's not on the surface because he's way too close to the enemy Cleveland for that, which means it's the Harlem who's the only one that's actually technically contesting that cap circle. Or at least he was. Yeah, he sailed out of the cap circle. He was way too exposed to be contesting the cap, not with that amount of opposition over there. So the cap circle at Bravo is completely open. The U-190 is the only member of the team who's actually in the cap circle, but he's not on the surface, so he's not contributing towards capturing it, and he's getting the crap depth charged out of him. So all kinds of depth charge attack planes going in over there. Oh, the Harlem just took a big hit from something. Yeah, probably the Littorio. And U-190, he's just popped his submarine surveillance, and he's now chased north out of the cap circle. I think he might be going after the Cleveland, and he's being remarkably brave for a submarine whose general location is known and is on half health. Oh, there's the Z31. Okay. Dave's finally arrived at, or near to, the central cap, and he's got himself a target. Okay, the Harlem has been taken out by the enemy carrier, but not before he managed to knock out the Cleveland. So, I mean, that's a fair trade. Unfortunately, as predicted, as Dave opens up on the Z31, that U-190 was being way too ambitious, and he's been depth charged and sunk by the Gneiser now. So the enemy team are once again ahead. And they have a, I mean, it's not an insurmountable points lead, but they're more than 100 points ahead. It'd be nice to kill the Z31. Although I don't think we're going to get him. Dave popping his hydro there in case the Z31 has launched any torpedoes towards this incredibly suspicious looking smoke screen. Yeah, I mean, he's scoring hits, but I don't know he's managed to make it into the smoke screen. On the bright side, though, he's at least managed to chase him out of the cap circle, and the friendly carriers just equalised the kills by taking out the enemy Gneiser now. Which means that the Kansas is now flipping the cap circle. Unfortunately, he's probably not going to survive long enough to complete it. He's being reset by a flint. Oh, and there's a submarine just pinged him. We're probably about to lose the Kansas, but the Flint's in a lot of trouble because he's been radared by the Baltimore, which has taken some of the pressure off the Kansas, although, I mean, he is burning, and he's within secondary range of a Massachusetts, and he's left the cap circle, and he's trying to get into cover behind an island as Dave slips into the cap and takes over from the Kansas. Thanks to the Baltimore, the Flint is in a lot of trouble, though. Yeah, the Baltimore's taking him out. Sadly, the Kansas is just too slow to make it out of line of sight of the Massachusetts, and he goes down too. There are now 5 ships left on each team, but the Z-31 has been respotted. There's a kill here. If Dave doesn't get him, the Baltimore might. Oh, he's missed. Well, the Massachusetts is in trouble. He's burning. He's on low health. Okay, the fires have gone out. So he's going to be immune to a fire for a few more seconds, but if he can get another fire set on him, that will probably kill him, because his damage control's on cooldown. Dave just nosed out of the smoke there, trying to respot the Z-31, didn't do it, and then backing up in order to keep the guns firing. I mean, 120mm guns aren't going to do a huge amount of damage to a battleship, but they can still set a fire. Oh, enemy U-190. Carrier spotted him, dropped some patrol fighters on him, forced him to dive. Dave switches fire, gets some shots out, but it's now impossible to hit him with guns, although he did do some damage. Dave's going to be careful here, because he's almost flipped this central cap. The submarine's still there, obviously. The carrier has nailed the Massachusetts. The team are now ahead 1 kill, and they're actually slightly ahead on points. But he's going to want to take this cap circle before committing to anything aggressive. So he's done that. There are some torpedoes there. The submarine is definitely going after the Baltimore. The Z-31 is still around here somewhere, though. Dave's still got 30 seconds of hydro left. I think we're about to see another depth charge kill. He can see the sub. The sub now sees him. He's at periscope depth. He's hit him with the guns. He's forced him to dive again. He should go undetected unless the sub is running submarine surveillance. He is still detected. That's either the submarine or the Z-31 sees him. The Z-31, however, is a one-shot kill and is unlikely to want to risk getting himself taken out in defense of the enemy submarine. So Dave's closing in. He's lost... Okay, good news, he's lost sight of the submarine, but the submarine probably was him. Oh, the Z-31 just got nailed by the Zeton secondaries. Awesome. Doesn't have to worry about the Z-31. He can now close in and depth charge the U-190. The team are now 2 kills ahead. There go the depth charges. Come on, baby. Let's have him. No hits. There he is. Guns, guns, guns. There's a fire. Yeah, he's got this guy. Not before he managed to get torpedoes away. Against the Baltimore, however, he did get a ping off. How many torpedoes was that? 4? I don't know if 4 is going to be enough to sink the Baltimore. They might not hit the Baltimore at all because they were, of course, spotted by Dave here. Right, Dave's going for the cap circle at Alpha. Okay, the submarine was able to get a flesh wound award and take the Baltimore out. Okay, that's unfortunate. It's 3 against 2. So the 2 surviving enemy ships are the carrier and the Littorio. Dave's team still have their carrier and the Colorado, world's worst player. So the enemy carrier is bad news for Dave, and the enemy Littorio is bad news for the friendly Colorado. Well, actually, right now the enemy carrier is bad news for the friendly Colorado. But it's good news for Dave, because it means he can flip this cap circle without having to worry about being spotted from the air and having his fun ruined by that enemy carrier. So this is going to be his second solo cap. He also has a capture assist. And I'm reasonably sure that there's nothing the enemy team are going to be able to do about this. They're 200 points ahead. Well, they're about 150 points ahead, but the enemy team don't have any cap circles. So this is the safe play. It's the smart play. Nobody's trying to win any harder than they need to here. They don't have that much of a points lead, but with 3 cap circles and the enemy team in possession of none, that about 150 point lead, as long as nobody dies, that's going to turn into a commanding point lead very, very quickly. There's the enemy Littorio spotted by the carrier. He does have a rather unfortunately large amount of health left. We've got 6 minutes of this battle remaining. Here comes the enemy carrier's aircraft. Skip bombers by the look of it. Yeah, and he's been spotted. Not going for him, though. They're focusing on the Colorado. Now look at the Colorado's position. Down there by the central cap. That is an unfortunate position. Because, well, one, he's got 50% health remaining, and two, in order to get safe, he needs to get around that island and down the other side. But that means giving broadside to a Littorio and the enemy carrier's skip bombers. But it's the fastest way for him to get into safety because the Colorado is a really, really slow ship. He can't reverse into cover. He'd be dead before he made it. So he's going to have to... Well, I'm not sure he can now. With that amount of health, he can't really afford to be giving broadside to the Littorio. So he might just have to nose in and take it on the chin. Looks like that's what he's doing, which under the circumstances is probably the smart move. Because there is a large island to the north that's currently between him and the Littorio. And if he can keep that island between him and the Littorio, he only has to worry about the enemy carrier. Oh no, I spoke too soon. He is turning in. He is going to try to make it around the island to the south. And he is giving broadside to the Littorio, who now probably has line of sight. Yep, there it goes. This is going to hurt. I mean, he's returning fire against the Littorio, and the Colorado does have 16-inch guns. I mean, it's not nothing. But, oof, he did get spanked there. That's half of his remaining health gone. I mean, he probably did about as much damage to the Littorio as the Littorio did to him, but the Littorio had more health to begin with and can afford to take it. So, Dave rushing to the assistance of the Colorado, but he does not want to get spotted here because the enemy carrier is still in play. And those skip bombers, I mean, he only has 50% of his health remaining as well. Again, the Colorado and the Littorio exchanging fire. Ineffective fire against the Littorio this time. Can't see how much health the Colorado has left. Dave's been advised to just run there in chat. And he's not going to get himself spotted. He's not that stupid. But he does kind of need to come to the assistance and defense of the Colorado, who's now being targeted by carrier-dropped torpedoes. It looks like Dave's going to get at least 2 torpedo hits on the Littorio, though. But that ain't going to be enough to sink him. And probably not therefore enough to keep the Colorado alive. And it is 2 torpedo hits. That's 22,000 damage and a double flood. And it is continuing to tick over. The Littorio is either not using the damage control or it's on cooldown. The Colorado realises he's about to die. He's turning around to fight the Littorio. Too little, too late, however. But it's also too little and too late for the enemy team to equalise the points difference, because Dave's team are still 400 points ahead. Even though the Littorio is now flipping that central cap, it is just not going to be enough. As long as nobody does anything stupid, like deliberately gets themselves spotted, the friendly carrier, you might notice, is actually moving closer to the Littorio. So he's definitely spotted. But that means he can cycle his aircraft faster and keep the pressure up on the Littorio, unless, of course, Dave's torpedoes catch him first and finish the job, because a single torpedo hit at the moment would, yes, he's definitely got him. He's absolutely 100% got him. At least 2 of those are going to hit, and it's only going to take 1. He's got him. Littorio didn't really have an awful lot of options there. He needed to get kills and take that central cap. And while he managed to get the kill on the Colorado, he couldn't get the kill on the carrier, which is going to be critical, and he also couldn't flip that central cap circle. Realistically speaking, from this point on, the match is already over. And I don't want to say that the enemy carrier threw it, because this is a very, very close, hard-fought match. But the moment where it became unwinnable was when Dave was flipping that cap circle at Alpha, and instead of finding and sinking the destroyer who was flipping the cap, the enemy carrier instead chose to focus on both the friendly Colorado and now the friendly carrier. Because if he'd managed to do that, the enemy Littorio would still be alive. The Littorio would have still killed the Colorado, which was comfortably outmatched by him, and the carrier would not now be in a position with seconds to go trying to beat a carrier and a destroyer, backing each other up with their anti-aircraft firepower, with barely seconds of the match left to go and too far away to cycle another strike. And so that was, I don't want to say a comfortable victory, because it was a close, hard-fought battle, and you don't often see those in World of Warships. And again, I don't want to be too critical of the enemy carrier. I mean, he was backing up his teammates and going after the targets that he could see. But it was Dave and the target that nobody could see, at least not when it mattered, who was the deciding factor. And, well, yeah, nearly 3,000 base experience. I'm looking at the post-battle results screen. It's quite clear who the priority target should have been there. But, you know, well done to everybody involved, because that was a close, well-fought battle. And like I said, that's not the sort of thing you see in World of Warships very often. But I'm happy to be able to show it to you today. So thank you to Dave and the Cossack. Hope you all enjoyed it. And as always, take care. And I'll catch you next time.